Hi everybody, we're going to talk today about just a basic introduction to inequalities. I know you have your test tomorrow. We're not going to go too deeply into this, but we really can't waste this beautiful Monday. So as you're studying for your test, this is real quick. You should have seen this before. There's not a lot to today's lesson, just a quick introduction. We talk about these inequalities. You should have seen these symbols before. This symbol represents less than. This symbol represents greater than. When we have that extra line underneath it, we say less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. One way to remember which is which is that if you hold up your hands, hold up your thumbs so that you make that shape with your thumb and your forefinger, kind of looks like an L, a less than. As long as you make your L's going the right direction. The other one is a greater than. So you see these in elementary school. They talk about alligators or Pac-Man. We're going to get a little more formal here. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And what we do is we represent these on the number line. When we put these on the number line, a less than or a greater than, we say strictly less than or strictly greater than. We use an open circle to represent less than or greater than. If it's a less than, open circle arrow to the left, greater than open circle arrow to the right. Here's another easy way to remember that the arrow points the same way that that symbol does on the number line. The arrow going towards the end of the number line goes the same way as the symbol. This arrow that we're drawing it towards the positive infinity end of the number line goes the same way that the greater than symbol does. When we talk about these less than or equal to's or greater than or equal to's, the arrows go the same direction. This is still going to be an arrow to the right, to the left, but we fill in the circle. We call that a closed circle versus an open circle for the other one. This would be a closed circle, arrow to the right. Okay, so arrow left, arrow right, open circle, closed circle, really the big takeaway from today. If I asked you to graph all of the points where x equals 3, you would put a dot on 3. So we don't graph equations solutions very often unless there's more than one of them. But that's different from these inequalities. So with the inequalities, I might ask you something like, tell me all of the numbers where x is less than 3. Well, there's infinitely many numbers that are less than 3. I don't want you to tell them to me. I don't want you to list them for me. I want you to show them to me. And this is where that idea of graphing them on the number line comes in. So I notice less than 3. That tells me I should have an open circle at 3. And my arrow should go all of the numbers that are less than 3. Less than is to the left on the number line. Now some of you are going to be really meticulous and beautiful and make gorgeous number lines. I am a sloppy number line maker. As long as I can see the answer, I don't care. I should be able to see the open circle. Some of you will make wiggles. Some of you will be very neat and careful. As long as the arrow, make sure you put that at the end. Okay. So let's look at some quick problems. Use the graph below to answer the questions that follow. So multiple choice question. It says, what is the solution set? So the solution set is all of the numbers that are represented by this part of the number line that's being shaded. So the first thing I notice is I have a closed circle, which means it's not this one and it's not this one. The arrow is to the right. That must mean it's this one. X is greater than or equal to -3. Another one. Which of these is graphed on the number line? Which of the following inequalities is graphed? Again, I notice open circle. Open circle can't be a less than or equal to, and it can't be a greater than or equal to, which must mean it's one or the other. This is going to the left, so it's a less than. So again, just a basic introduction today. If you've already seen these, great, this will be a piece of cake. If you haven't, this isn't that complicated. Just got to get it in your mind. X is less than -5, which represents the solution set. Again, I'm going to need an open circle and an arrow to the left. That would be my number line C. So here's one that's a little more complicated in that I have to solve the inequality before I represent its solution. Well, we solve these almost identically to equations. We'll look at how they're different tomorrow, but for today, let's just think about those single steps. I would add 4 to both sides. and I would get x is less than or equal to 4, which would mean a closed circle, arrow to the right, to the left, sorry, would be choice D. Look at the graph below. Again, which one does this represent? I'm looking for a closed circle. So not this one and not this one and not this one. It should be D. W is greater than or equal to 4. Got it. Which of the following graphs represents the solution to the inequality? Again, we need to solve here, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And I get x's, and I'm being careful with my signs, less than or equal to, because look at the choices they're giving me. -1 or 9. Which one of those should it be on the number line? Watching my signs, because I added 5 to both sides, x is less than or equal to 9. So it's between choice C and D. Because it's less than or equal to, I'm going with C. This one, we're solving through division, dividing by 2 on both sides. I get x is less than 6. So let's see, it's not 10. I didn't solve through addition or subtraction. I solved through multiplication, and x is less than 6 would be this one. Okay, again, not complicated. We're looking, again, for, I usually grade these as 3 points. 1 point if your number is at the right place. 1 point if your circle is open or closed correctly. 1 point if your arrow is going in the right direction. So those 3 little things I'm considering as I grade your inequalities. All right, here's where we have a little problem. -7 is less than or equal to x. That sounds like it's going to be an arrow going this way. But the problem here is the variable is on the left, or is on the right of our equation. Sorry, I get my left and right mixed up. We need to put that, in order to understand what that sentence is saying, we need to put the variable on the left. -7 is less than or equal to x doesn't make sense in our brains. I want you to flip it around and always, always write the variable on the left. So the variable's on the left, the -7 is on the right, and let's see, that arrow's pointing at the -7. I need to turn that arrow around as well, so it's still pointing at the -7. And now look what this looks like. It looks like x is greater than or equal to 7. That sentence makes a lot more sense in our minds than -7 is less than or equal to x. So always, always rewrite it variable on the left. Now I can see I should have a closed circle at -7, and my arrow should be going to the right. These are not real interesting questions, but we might see these multiple choice questions. These come from, you might see them like on a PSAT. Which number is not a member of the solution set? The solution set is just all of the numbers that solve this inequality. 5x is less than or equal to 23. Well, I would solve this by dividing both sides by 5. I would get x is less than or equal to 4.6 if I divided that out. So let me look at these numbers here. Which one is not a member of the solution set? Well, let's see, on my number line, let's say this is 4.6. My arrow, or I would have a closed circle, arrow to the left. 0 is part of the solution set. 0 would be down here somewhere. -4.7 would be way down there. That's part of the solution set. 4.6, because that's a closed circle, is part of the solution set. So the one that's not a part of the solution set would be 4.7. We have to just read these a little bit carefully, especially these multiple choice questions. You might see a little word problem. The length of a rope is less than 15 feet. Which number sentence describes the length of the rope? Less than. Number sentence means it should have an equals or an inequality sign in, so it's not one of those two. Is less than 15 feet would be that one. Okay, so we're going to just jump over to Delta Math and do some quick questions. There's 2 timed sections. They want you to get 10 right within 100 seconds. Again, it'll keep feeding you problems until you hit stop. So 10 questions right in 100 seconds, and then just 5 quick solve the inequality, and I think a graph on the number line. Okay, and that's it for today, and test will be tomorrow. That Delta Math is due Thursday night, I believe, but double check the date on it. Okay, thanks guys, bye.